Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode on SAP UI5 and Fiori training. In the last session in SAP UI5, we discussed about routing concept. We saw how can we create routing configuration to create instance of our views automatically. We saw the power of router. We also looked into the functionality and behavior of a browser. Whenever we have an endpoint of any URL, browser keeps track of the history. We also saw how can we design our router in such a way that every single action, every single navigation to any view is considered to be a new navigation path so that browser tracks the history of the same. So in our example, we have given the routing configuration in manifest.json, and as a result of that, we saw that every single navigation was pointed with a unique endpoint. You can see the unique endpoint over here. So there is a unique endpoint for every single navigation inside our application. Ab aage. So now we will go ahead and see right now the problem what we are facing. It is working absolutely fine as far as the router is concerned. On the top, you can see every single click is leading towards a unique path on the top in the URL. Yeah, this is what is currently happening. Also, if user cut and paste this particular URL in another window, I just put it here in another window, you will see it directly loads the state of the UI. I don't think so, Murli. You are only having that issue. Please reconnect. So now you can see that every time I select an item, it is reloading the state of the UI. But right now the data is missing on the right side. The reason is because of the binding. Okay. This is what is the issue. Okay. Binding is the issue. We will see now in the system, how can we resolve this issue? How can we perform this binding? So one question to all of you, in any controller, Fundafox, in any controller, how do you obtain the object of router? Inside any controller, how do you obtain the object of router? Yesterday's class, which API did we use to obtain the object of router in any controller? Yesterday in controller
Mm,
1, I have showed you obtaining the object of
Get
router.
get router method of UI component class.
Perfect answer. We use sap.ui.core.ui component class, and in that we have used get router for, and we pass this. That is option number 1. Similarly, there is one more API, guys, which you all can use. You can use this dot get owner component. This is also another API. This dot get owner component, which gives you the instance of the component JS. Because you all know that in our application there is only one component JS which do exist at the web app level. So simply just call this dot get owner component dot get router for this. Is also another API. I think you can just call get router. It will give you the router object automatically. The option which you can choose is any one of them. Both are preferred. There is no comparison. They are both same. But it's just that second one is used in standard Fiori apps. That's why I prefer to use second one. Okay. That's why I prefer to use. So let's go. And now, first of all, just check it out if it works, the API. So now I can go back to my view controller. And yesterday we saw that this is what we were doing. Yeah. Let's comment out this line and use option 2 just for the sake of your understanding. So some of you may see that second statement in some free apps. Do not get confused. Okay. Both are same, absolutely same. There is no change at all. They are doing absolutely same functionality. Okay. There is no view level versus application level or any other comparison in this case. It is absolutely same. It's not model, it's a router object. Okay. So don't confuse. Don't confuse. that it has a different scope or something. It's absolutely same. Both are doing same work. Just the difference in calling method. So get owner component dot get router. Okay, call this, that's variation number 2. And now I just remember, when you are testing it, just remove the hashtag from the end, press enter, and now let's test it. You can see it is working. Okay, it is working fine. So now you can see the same thing is working, but just a different API. So now we have a different API and it's behaving absolutely same, but the catch is still remains the same. The problem is still exists. We got to get the data. We got to get the data. How do we get the data? So now we have to use another special concept called route match handler. What is route match handler? A route match handler is a special method. Let me note down some theory about it. Which gets called every time the navigation or the hashtag changes. In shorter way, navigation changes. Every time a route is fired, every time a route is fired, navigation is triggered, or tag is changing, route match handler method triggers. You can consider this method as WD do modify view in the WebDyn Pro, which gets called before every view is displayed to the user again. You can also compare this with on before rendering. We have seen an on before rendering hook method, right guys? You can compare it with that. But this method is more powerful because it also triggers even on subroutes. Okay, even on subroutes. So you can see here, route is a route. Inside that you are getting hash /1 /2 /5 /10 for every route. This particular method will trigger for every route, every single route, guys. It will trigger. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of this method? The purpose is very simple. What is that which we were doing to bring the data in the right side? Anybody? Which code yesterday I removed which was getting the data on the right side? Which code I removed which was getting the data on the right side? Perfect answer. Monica has got it right. We were doing element binding. Yes. We were doing element binding which was getting the data on the right side. Isn't it, guys? Let me show you again. Those who have forgot, let me just go back to our yesterday's code. Good that I've commented and not removed the code. I can show you here we were doing a bind element. Isn't it, guys? We were taking the view2 object and we were doing a bind element, isn't it? This is what was getting the data in second view. Are you all clear, guys? What was that which was getting the data in the second view? It was the bind element. Look at here, which object? View2 ka object. Which object? View2's object we were using to do the bind element. So that is what we commented, and as a result of that our data lost. Now this particular binding, element binding, can be done on route change. Every time you navigate to a view, you can do this element binding in the route match handler method, because every time navigation changes, the route match handler method triggers. Okay, that also gives another best advantage. Advantage is when you give this URL directly to another colleague, your friend or your manager, it will reload the state of the UI, because that time system will trigger the route match handler method and it will help you to restore the state of the UI. Okay, so it's a good practice to write the code relevant for binding of second view also in the second view itself. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll go to the View2 controller. Just close all the windows. I don't like working with all windows. It confused me many times and it also increased chances of mistakes. So better we close all of them. And I'll go to View2 controller. And sometimes guys, let me show you another feature of WebIDE. Let's say you are in a file. Okay, I am in some file here. I'm working with some file here, right? This is a file I'm working. Now, I don't know this particular View2 controller belongs to which project on the left side. Okay, you don't know. It is a file which was open for which particular app, which particular position. Like in SE80 in ABAP, sometimes you open an object, you don't know which object, which package it belongs to in SE80, right? Then you click an object list button in ABAP. Similarly here, when you open a file, you can click on this link button. Yeah, just click on that. And the moment you click, you can see on the left side, it opens up the position of this file in which project it belongs. Very, very helpful feature. And now this linking remains on. Every time you open any file and navigate, system will navigate you to that particular link on the left side. It will navigate you to the position of the file, which project it belongs. That's a quick, nice feature of WebIDE. Cool. Now coming down. So now first of all, we need to get the router object here. So let's uncomment the on init functionality. And here we need to get the router object. So I can say this dot o router. I'm creating a global variable. And I can say this dot get owner component dot get router. Here got the router object. Now you need to attach a route match handler. Route match handler event is actually part of router object. So we have to say this dot o router dot attach route pattern matched. ये डालना पड़ेगा exact this one, this gentleman. Attach means please attach. What to attach? A function needs to be attached. Whom? Route match, route pattern match. Whenever router changing, whenever route object is changing, please attach route pattern matched. Okay. So whenever route changes, attach this event handler. And now I can say this dot Hercules. What do you mean by Hercules? Anybody? What do you mean by Hercules? Is this the standard method name by UI5? Is the Hercules is something which SAP UI5 providing? No, it's my own function. Hope you all understood by now what is my style of coding. Whenever there is something which we can decide, we can give. I put some hypothetical names or some character names here so that it's clear for you that it's not a keyword. However, this one is a keyword. This is fixed. This event name is fixed. You can't put attach Hercules. Okay, that you cannot do. So now where is this function? It is not existing right now. We got to create, of course, naturally. You see also I'm passing the controller object to this Hercules method. This is how we pass, right? The method name comma this. So it will also recognize a controller object. Okay. When it will trigger, it will now trigger on every route change. Okay. Let me show you. And I will also put down the params and I will just say console.log just o params should be displayed. Save it. Let's come back and test it. Watch out, watch out. Every time any route triggers, you will see Hercules method will trigger. Press F12, go to the console. Watch out, watch out. Every time I click on any fruit, watch out. Every time I click on every fruit, my route changes. So I click on that, my route is changing at this point of time. You can see debugger is hitting the, let's keep it. And now let's come to console. Voila, voila. Can you see it has got an object for me? Are you all clear, guys, what it has done? System has got an object for me. It has triggered it. Yeah, it has got, and you see the parameters are also there. There are some parameters inside this. I select another fruit, avocado, and you see again it is printing it. I select another fruit. You see, again it is printing. And see, watch out, it's also telling me the path. On the top, you see the path slash fruit slash 7, right? That's the path. So you see, it's telling me the path, exactly the path also it is telling me. Clear, everybody? Every time you're clicking on it, you are actually passing a route. The route is changing on the top, the endpoint is changing. It is triggering my route pattern match method, the Hercules method which we created. It is triggering that. Now that is the method where I can go and do the element binding with my view itself, isn't it? I can do that with my view itself. Now here, what I can do, I have to read these parameters of this event handler. Okay, these parameters will get, so we will get all the parameters. So I can say this event object var, and I want to read now the path. So I can say this dot get parameters, and what was the parameter we are passing? Let's see what are the parameters we are passing. Go to view one. When we triggered the navigation, you see we are just passing the parameter fruit id with an index. We are passing the index. So this is the fruit id. Read this fruit id. So now I got the fruit id. But bind the element, we need exact address. And address is prepared with the help of JSON, as per the JSON. So it is fruits entity set slash the index, right? So I have to prepare that. So I have to say as path equals to slash fruits entity set slash concatenate with this path. Are you clear? How am I building the path address of selected fruit based on its index? So I am passing from view one the index. This index I have received it here. Every time root changes, it will call Hercules. In Hercules, I have received the index of the fruit. With that index, I prepared the path for binding. And now magic, just this dot get view, you are already in the view 2. तुमको कहीं से ऑब्जेक्ट लाना नहीं है. You are already in the view 2. You don't have to get this object from anywhere. You're already in the view 2. You're already in the view 2. Earlier code, what was happening in the view 1? We were getting the view object. In the view 1 we were getting the view object, which was dirty programming, very dirty programming. We were getting the view, we were jumbling the view objects with each other. Very bad programming we were doing that. Bad programming, guys, never do that. Bad programming, you're jumbling the view object. Imagine if you start writing this code, you have 20 views, each view has object of another view with itself exchanged. Very bad programming. Then it will not be a clear responsibility, correct? So now we don't have to do that. We are already in the view 2. We can just say this dot get view dot bind element. What to bind it with? Address. This is the address. Please bind it. We are done. Congratulations. Are you all clear with every single line of code here in the Hercules method? Are you all clear with every single line of code in Hercules method? Everyone, are you all clear? Let me explain again. Step by step, line by line, what we were doing there. In step 1, we were passing the index of the fruit. Pass the index of the fruit which was selected by user. That is first step. Afterwards, in the next step, what we were doing, you can come back here. Whenever view loads, whenever route changes, this method will get called. It's your route match handler method. Clear, everybody? In this method, the moment you come, read the URL hashtag. Okay, you are reading the hashtag of the URL where you are read the ID passed by read the ID, read the index passed by view 1 in URL params. Step 2, prepare the address of selected fruit using the index. Step 3, we are already in the view to bind that address of selected fruit with the current view. Save it. Are you all clear, guys? Congratulations. That's how the complete end-to-end flow works. Okay. Let me put a debugger and show you also. I'll put a debugger here. I'll also put a debugger where we are sending it. From here we are sending it. So we are putting also debugger here. Let me check और कहीं तो नहीं है, इसको हटा दो, इसको भी हटा दो, इसको रखो. Save it. Let's save everything. Let's test it one more time. Starting from scratch, I'm removing the path from the top. Press enter. It will reload the fresh instance of my app with the latest code. And now watch out, watch out. I click on any apple or any fruit. Okay, I click on banana. I click on banana. It is triggering now my on item press. Least item selection happened. It came to that event. Here I am reading the index of the fruit which I selected. You see, what is the index, guys, of banana? What is the value which it has got? Anybody? What is the value which it got? 4. These 4 I am passing to my router as a parameter. I am saying fruit ID 4 hai bhaiya. Okay. My fruit ID is 4. This is what am I sending. Now the movement on the top route changes. So when the router is called, router will change the route. Router will change the navigation path on the top. That's what router will do. Execute. It changed. You see on the top, route 4 aa gaya wahan pe. Now what will you do? It trigger the Hercules. It trigger the route pattern match method. Every time the route changes, it will trigger. And now in this method, we are then just reading the fruit ID which was passed from there. What was the fruit ID passed? 4, right? It will get you 4. Okay. It will get you fruit ID as 4. And with this 4 fruit ID, why it is not getting now? Something went wrong. Is it? We did something wrong. Let me check. Params. Get parameters. And in this, sorry guys, there is a mistake. You can see here. It is inside arguments, inside parameters, arguments, fruit ID. That's a mistake. Okay. So it is inside arguments. So where is it? Where is my code in the view 2 controller? Just come here. It is inside arguments. But fruit ID. That's what it is. Now it will not work. Currently it will not work, guys. F8. You see, banana is not loading on the right side. Can you see, guys? Banana nahi load hua na yahan pe. Hona chahiye tha na. This data should have come here, right? It's not coming. Correct? Why? Because there was an issue. We debugged it. We found out it is inside arguments. Let's test it again. Let's move this. Refresh. No, bracket is not needed in arguments. Now let me come back again, select banana. We all know we are sending 4. It comes to the route match handler method now in the view 2. Here let's test again. Come down. Now let's see. 4 aa gaya. See guys, 4 have come. Whatever you pass from there, you propagated the data from there to here. You got that data here. You got that 4 here. Now we are building the path of exact fruit as per our JSON. So we build the path. Our path for binding becomes slash fruit slash 4. Just bind that path with the view, current view, or F8. Boom, there you go. You can see it's loaded the data one more time, once again, back into the action. That's how it works. Okay. Parenthesis is not required. Where you want the parenthesis? Arguments is not a function. It's a property. For any property, we never use parenthesis. Get parameters is a function. That's why we need parenthesis. Okay. When you analyze the oparams object, you will find get parameters is a function. So setter, getter, remember, set and get, they're all functions. So for functions, we use parenthesis. For arguments, it's not a function, it's a property inside that object which it gives me. So that's why no parenthesis is required. Okay. Now let me select another one, BlackBerry, and voila, you see BlackBerry is loading. Okay. Apricot, you see apricot is loading. Wow. Now let me show you guys what will happen when I press back button. Anybody, what should happen when I press back button? What should happen when I press back button? It should go back not to banana. You did not focus what I did just before that. You did not focus what I did just before that. Nobody remembers. Nobody remembers. What was the last selected fruit? Blackberry it was. Say back. You can see it took me to the blackberry. Again I say back. It took me banana. You see guys, if I say forward, blackberry, forward, apricot. See guys, it's loading the state of the UI. Complete back and forth functionality is working. What an amazing feature. And you see the beauty. If I take this URL and give it to my colleague, they will open this URL. They can also, if they know the index of the fruit, they can simply put here, let's say fruit number 15. Press enter. It will reload the state of UI. You see, fruit number 15 is date. You see, it's loading the exact state of the UI directly. They don't have to open the list, search for date, select the date, and then load date. That's not needed at all. You can directly give the URL to your colleague. It will restore the state. How, no matter what, how deep navigation you would have done. Sometime you would have gone here in the date, you would have selected the material, you would have selected a supplier, you would have selected line item, you would have done a lot of deep navigation. So you can actually give the URL to your friend, and that deep navigation will be reloaded exactly. Let me show you one more power. You can go to sapfurytrial.com and now learn how SAP have done. This is how SAP have done, and same way we have implemented. Now let's go to any Fiori application inside the standard SAP Fiori app catalog here. So these are a catalog of applications. Okay, these are all catalogs. So now maybe I just go down, see some data if it is there, some app, customer invoices. Let me go in this app, customer invoice app. I say all customer, I want the app invoices to be loaded. And now see, I select an invoice, this one. Watch out the number 39373. And now I can come down, and this is the particular invoice I selected. Let me show you on the top. Can you see on the top slash details slash invoices, uske andar number dala hua hai. Are you clear guys on the top what exactly system is doing? This is their endpoint guys. The way we have an endpoint, they also have an endpoint. Now if I give this URL to all of you, can you all click on your chat window? There is a URL. Just click on that particular URL and tell me what is happening. Isn't it loading the state of the UI? Isn't it loading the exact? Sorry, I've done a mistake. Now try this one. This one you try. Isn't it taking you directly? Isn't it taking you directly to the invoice which I opened on my screen? It is reloading the state of UI exactly what we have. Exactly what we have. It is reloading the state of the UI, guys. Can you please open and tell me, confirm me if it is reloading the state of the UI for all of you? Exactly what I see on my screen, right? It's loading the same. It's loading the same one. Correct, guys? Are all of you clear? The power of router. If I wouldn't have done that, if there is no routing, what would have happened? It would have loaded the main screen. In the main screen, then you would have selected something. Then you would have come here, you would have searched it, and then you would have selected. It would have taken lot of time. Okay. This is how it works. This is how the power of router works. Clear everybody? How does it work? The router. Can we mask this ID endpoint? No need to mask this Prasoon. There is no need to mask this ID. This is publicly available. This is publicly visible also, and that's what is required also. Okay. How can you get the logo on the top as well? That logo which you see on the top is actually coming because of SAP Fiori Launchpad. Okay. We don't have any Launchpad integration right now. So this logo, home button, all this logout, login, all these things are coming due to SAP Fiori Launchpad right now. Because of that, it is coming. So we are not having anything of that sort. Okay. we are not having. So if it needs to be triggered whenever the routing, then why to put in on in it? Why not on before rendering? You can try putting in on before rendering. It will not work. You can go ahead and try putting in on before rendering. Please try that out and tell me the result tomorrow, whether it works or not. The on before rendering purpose is not the same. On before rendering is not for that purpose. It's mainly for like UI changes related purpose. It's not for that purpose. It's not for routing purpose. Okay. Now, will it be seeing file upload functionality? File upload functionality, you can check it on my website. Just go to onlinefurytrainings.com. I know this question is going to come. I already have done provisions for this question. Go to Anubhav Learning Series. There you will find file upload functionality. Just come down and you will see file upload functionality. In fact, file could be a picture, file could be an Excel file, it could be a PDF document. So you can see, sorry, the complete source code also available. Excel file upload download functionality. So instead of Excel, you can also send PDF, images, anything. Okay. So you can check that how to do that. So you can do that file upload download functionality here. Also, you can read and save files from SAP system, from your gateway system. All of that is covered as part of my learning series videos, Deepak. So next goal for all of you, once we complete our course, which will be about next 10 to 15 days, 10, 12 days more. Afterwards, please look at all the videos of Anubhav Learning Series. It will give you a competitive advantage. Okay, it's absolutely free. You all can go through this. From here, you can download the presentation. And why am I doing it? Just for you guys. Because many of you come to me asking some more advanced things. And I feel if I not answer these questions, I will do injustice to you. That's why I'm recording this free learning series videos, Anubhav Learning Series. Because it's impossible to fit in everything, every custom requirement, every single requirement what you guys have as part of my course, because then I have to skip some important topics of the course which I don't want to do, because you saw till date whatever we learned, every single topic was so important and it was so well connected with each other. If I kill some topics in the middle, it's like betraying you, which I don't want to do. So there is no harm in giving extra knowledge for you. Now you are used to my teaching style, you are used to my videos. After completing my current training, please go through Anubhav Learning Series videos, especially also this video very helpful. So many of you will not keep the projects in local computer, you got to connect it with a Git repository. Sometimes these days in the companies, even nobody knows about UI5 Fiori. You see around you people, they are dumb. They don't have any clue about UI5 Fiori. आप जो भी बोलोगे वो ही मान लेंगे वो. But still they will come to you and say how to do that, how to do this. So one question which will come, how do you collaborate between teams? If you have a development team of 6 to 10 people, will you exchange your project via email with you? And what about if you are writing some piece of code and your computer crashes? The code is gone, right? So you should keep the code in a server. That server is nothing but Git repository. You can initialize a Git repository absolutely free of cost from github.com. You can also go ahead and initialize a paid Git repository which will be private, and for that your company has to pay to github.com. The pricing information for that is also available on it. It doesn't need any full stack. Now guys, one more quick catch I want to show you. Some of you are sending me an email, Anubhav, in WebID full stack add view option is not available. Yesterday also from Hemant I've got an email. Hemant was telling Anubhav that in WebID full stack we do not have an option for to create the view. Okay, so let me quickly show you. We do have it. Let me just go and show you that. So I go to Web IDE. This is Web IDE full stack in SAP Cloud Platform. Right now, Web IDE full stack only available in SAP Cloud Platform. And I told all of you in the previous classes, where is my YouTube video to start Web IDE full stack from SAP Cloud Platform. Please watch that video if you have not seen. So here is the SAP Web IDE full stack in SAP Cloud Platform. So I've already told all of you about it. So this has also features like workflows, storyboard, you can then of course create OPA 5 pages here. You can do a lot more things. You can have multiple workspaces. You can migrate your old projects. You have features like consoles, problems view. Yeah, you can have builds. You can do Node.js based applications here. You can create HANA based applications. You can connect to Git repository. You have lots more features like Project Explorer. You can have a storyboard feature for navigation, easy navigation without writing a code. You can create the app. You have a layout editor. You can create Java based application. Soon they've announced ABAP on cloud, so they will also integrate it with Fiori Web IDE full stack. You can build calculation views. Those who work with HANA, you might have built calculation views in SAP HANA Studio. SAP HANA Studio will also become an obsolete tool. Nobody will use SAP HANA Studio. This is the clear direction from SAP. This is the tool for future. Complete end-to-end development, be it HANA development, be it native HANA development, be it ABAP development in the cloud, be it CDS view development, be it Node.js development, be it Java-based development, be it UI5 Fiori development, be it hybrid application toolkit or hybrid application development, be it a SAP mobile platform relevant hybrid application development, be it an IoT application development for any integration with machine library, for an integration with native native mobile capabilities like camera integration, barcode integration, push notification, offline access of Fiori app, SMP deployment, or be it any kind of other development going forward in SAP belongs and can be only done with SAP Web IDE full stack, guys. So you all can see there's a great value in learning. If you want to go deep learning, please subscribe to my next advanced course, which is also currently started last week. You can just go ahead and check out the details. In this way, learn a lot more even advanced things. You might have heard about Grunt.js, right? Some people must have seen, those who are working in US, especially the companies and projects which are operating in America. You get always the latest and greatest technology across you. In India, it takes some time to bring these technologies, bring these best practices in India, but in US, especially some top companies, they are already using these latest advanced concepts like Grunt.js based build. Yeah, in UI5 you use Grunt.js to do the building of your app. So a lot of these concepts which we have, new concepts, cutting edge concepts which companies are using, the best practices, they're all covered in my Launchpad and Advanced Fiori Security training. So just come down, just quickly show you a snapshot of what amazing stuff is covered here. So you can see we will discuss about UX designer tool like Build.me. This is for prototype. Many of you ask me, Anubhav, what is wireframe? What is storyboard? What is user story? What is an epic? Yeah, these are all terms which we use for UX design. Okay, and there is a tool which is certified by SAP, which is built by SAP called Build.me, which is for prototyping. You create wireframes here. You create navigation paths. You basically do a UX design here in this tool. You're prototyping. Any company, big company, when they start developing, they directly don't jump for development. Small companies, they do it. Small companies, the only outcome they want is code from you. But good companies, big companies, their main goal is first to design. So for designing purpose, for getting a look and feel, for creating a quick prototype, we use this tool called Build.me, which is also available as a service in SAP Cloud Platform. And also it's available directly as a Build.me. You can just go and search, say Build.me. It's a tool certified by SAP for creating any, uh, any SAP prototype for SAP Fiori UX. Yeah. So build beautiful apps. You can see lots of galleries also available here. You can just sign up for free and create variety of dashboard applications. What an amazing feature. Creating wireframes, connecting screen navigations just to give a look and feel of a Fiori application. So all based on design thinking, quick prototyping, all these features with UX strategy are all part of this particular course. Okay, so this is all covered in my advanced course. Then on top we also talk about OPA 5 and Q unit test. Many of you come back to me asking about, will you cover Q unit and OPA 5? OPA 5 stands for one page acceptance test. What about unit testing of your Fiori application? Right, the way you create ABAP units, you can also create unit tests here in SAP UI5. That's Q unit. What about integration test? You can create integration test with something called OPA 5. That is also something part of this course. We also have Fiori installation using SAP Fiori Maintenance Planner. These days, nobody using Solution Manager. Everybody using Maintenance Planner for upgrading their systems, updating their systems, installation of Fiori applications in the systems. So we'll cover that. We'll look at how can you extend standard Fiori applications which are available and delivered by SAP. All of these things will be part of S4HANA extensibility scenario. How can you extend S4HANA cloud application using SAP Cloud Platform using WebID full stack? That is also covered in this course. We will look at Launchpad Designer, Theme Designer, changing the themes, changing the Launchpad look and feel, changing the login logout screen for the Launchpad. If you just quickly, I'll show you our Launchpad here for our current server which we have. We have a launchpad. I have customized that launchpad already. I have changed the logon screen for that launchpad already. Let me quickly show you the Fiori launchpad. So I have changed the logon screen of that particular launchpad, guys. How did I change that? That's something which also, it's a trick which we all have to do to be able to change the launchpad login screen. So that's not the launchpad actually. I forgot the URL. So you can change the login screen for the Launchpad also with the help of the Launchpad configuration. And then how to design your own Launchpad. And you see Grunt.js base build. Node.js also I'm teaching in this course. As a basic of Node.js will also be covered in this course. How can you do Node.js based development, and lot more features with Web IDE. So which are not even listed. So for full course content, you can just go and check it out. It's an amazing course. It's an amazing, latest and greatest cutting edge things you will learn. With that, you become a full expert of S4HANA Fiori related stuff, configurations, extensibilities, deployments, architecture. You can become a Fiori architect after completing these two courses. First one already we are almost through with it. The second one, after completing, you becomes a Fiori architect actually. And now coming back, so in the WebID full stack, some of you are saying, Anubhav, we created a new folder. So just create a new folder. I can say my project. So, and then inside is my project, I just create another folder called web app folder. There you go. And now inside the web app folder, then I was just checking an option to create a new view. And you see, guys, there is no option to create a view here. This was also one doubt which I received over email yesterday. And how can we solve this? So that's very easy. Just go to your project, right click and choose project settings. Don't forget that. Go to project settings. And in the project settings, then you just, let me minimize zoom level. Select the project type as SAP Fiori. Okay, click on save, project settings saved. Now right click again on the web app folder, of course, and say new, and voila, you can see the option for SAP UI5 view is now available, guys. Clear, everybody? This was one quick catch for many of you who are facing an issue regarding SAP UI5 view not available in your project when you right click on that. So that is how you can enable the project settings to be able to enable the options related to UI5 view. Okay, in WebID full stack. Just a quick update from my side. Okay, coming back to the basics. So that's what we have seen. How can we restore the state of UI? With that, we are complete with the three most important topics. In fact, four topics. First was the manifest.json. Second was the component.js. Third one was the router concept, and fourth one was a route match handler concept. And now you can see our end-to-end application with the binding is working. You can also manually go and change the index, and it will restore the state of the UI. End user will never do that. Okay, end user will never go and change anything, guys. It's you who understand the code. It's you understand everything, and you can yourself do it. But there is still a catch. Let me give that as an exercise for all of you. Let's see who are all have expertise to kill this and solve this issue. So right now when I'm just loading the state of the UI, you see ideally my fruit, which is apricot, should have got selected on the left side in the list, right? This fruit should have got selected on the left side on the list, but it is not getting selected. Okay, let me show you. I select N key. Now see N key selected and it's loaded. Now if I just change the index on the top to, let's say, index 4, I enter, it loads avocado. Okay, it will load. Okay, it loaded banana. You see it loaded banana over here as per the index 4. It binds with banana and loaded banana. Very good, no problem. But on the left side, do you see still the selection is on N key? ये सही है क्या? From end user point, is this okay? Is this correct from end user point of view? No, na. This is not okay from end user point of view. That's why we have to, you guys have to go and now find out a solution. This is a bug which I'm giving you. Just see if you can fix this bug in our current project. I will upload this project after the class. You all can download and just get me the fix. So what is that you got to try? Just go on the top, change the URL path, just select N key, then just go and change it to 4, index 4, and see if banana is getting selected. No, of course, you got to do some piece of code. Where will you write that piece of code? I won't tell you today. You got to go use your expertise. Just try out if you can fix that up. If you can fix that up, I'm very happy. I can consider you as an expert in UI5 afterwards. Okay, let's see how many of you can fix. With that, it's a wrap on today's class. Time for all your doubts, but please one by one.
Anubhav, I have a question. If anyone doesn't have any other questions, I can show you the code, but I'll wait if someone has some further questions.
Let's see, Deepak, your code.
Sure.
Yeah, I gave you the presenter rights already. Please go ahead. I am sure Prasoon sir तो हो गए क्वेश्चन, लेकिन उनके क्वेश्चन लास्ट में लेंगे. उनके पास हमेशा क्वेश्चन रहते हैं. We'll take at the end.
Anubhav,
Yes.
Anubhav, this is Murli. Okay, let us finish this, and after that I'll ask.
Yes, Murli, please
Thanks.
hold on, Murli. We'll come to you.
Okay.
Yeah, Deepak.
Anubhav, can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see your screen, Deepak.
So the problem I'm having is, like, when I go to manifest and when I put this fruit ID, the code doesn't work. If I remove this one here, it works fine. It took a while for me because I don't know how to debug manifest file. It doesn't even take a comment, like, so
please put that.
Save it.
I want you to put it back. I want to see the state where it is not working. Working is fine. I want to see where it is not working. Please go back. Okay, very nice. Now on the top, can you see there is this slash fruit which you have already kept it on the top. Usko hata dijiye. Just remove that.
The hash too?
Yes, hash also. Up to hash you remove. Slash and hash both. Press enter. Now it will reload your code from fresh. Okay, something wrong. You can restart from the web ID. Always, whenever after implementing router, this is one tricky thing which we all end up doing mistake. We will refresh, it won't work. Okay, because you are in the routing mode now. So it will directly try to load that exact route and it won't refresh your code. So it's a good practice after implementing router. You start your app always from fresh.
I usually actually you told to right click and empty the cache there.
No, that will also not help because there is a routing at the end. So the moment there is a routing at the end, system won't reload the app. It will reload the state of the app. Now you click on one of the fruit. On the top, you should now see after clicking on fruit.
Yeah, I already debugged it, so I'm just gonna.
Okay. And you see, voila, on the top, you can see /fruits/1 is coming, but it's not navigating to your view, detail view, right? So we will see that.
Because it's not probably implemented.
That's
there.
okay, no problem. First we see console. If there is an error in the console is our first priority. Even anything doesn't work, we first has to see it in the console. That's the topmost thing we have to do. Okay, we don't see any major issues here. Looks fine. Please go back to your manifest now. I want to see a manifest. Just hold on. Let me check here. Let me use my eagle eye mode to scroll through your code and see. Anybody else also can answer if you guys are facing any issues. ID empty, ID view2 level 2 is view name is view2, which looks okay. Your view2 name is view2 itself. Control aggregation detail pages. Sir, where is your config? Okay, on the top. Control ID is my app, OFT Fiori, M routing router, Trump. On the Trump, we are loading the view name as view2, detail pages, ID view2. Which version of SAP UI5 are you using?
Should I do control?
Go back to the app. Go back to our app, second page. Control Alt Shift P. Just press Control Alt Shift P. Control Alt Shift P. Did you press?
Yeah, it's not somehow Control Alt Shift P.
Okay, no problem. We can also go back. I think your console, yes, now it is 1.44, sir. In 1.44, in the manifest, in order to, when you are changing the navigation path, there is one more property you have to add in order to replace. So what is happening? Click on close. Whenever you're clicking on an item, it is actually changing the navigation. It is bringing the detail view, but that detail view is behind the empty view. Empty view is still on the top and that detail view is still behind. Okay, it is because of UI5 version. Okay, now there is one special property which we have to add called clear target equals to true property. If that we add, then it will show up the view which is getting loaded. It will clear first the whatever is there on detail section, and then it will load the next part. That is what we have to do. So just go back to the targets. Sorry, in the target section. Yes, correct. And now can you see in the Trump last line number 91, put comma, enter, double quote, clear target, C small, target capital, clear target equals to true, boolean true, TRUE, true. Okay, just copy the same line and paste this line in all the targets, including Robert, including main. Yes, with comma you can copy. Very good. You're smart. Just save this, please, and rerun your app once again. Let's see if this is the right place where I have to put that. No, don't refresh here because it will not work. You know that you're already in the routing mode. It will reload the state of UI.
Oh, so just relaunch it?
Yes, now you can see anyway it is working. You can also relaunch and test. You just saw when we refresh, it was loaded the detail view for some time. So that's actually with UI5 version 1.44. In latest version, there is no requirement for clear target naturally. Okay. Can you click?
Okay. Yeah, I clicked on avocado there.
It did not work. I think the clear target I have to see where exactly I have to put. Maybe we have not put it correct place. Let me just check quickly.
Maybe I can change the version to the latest one. Do you think that'll help?
Sorry?
If I change the version on
yes, if you change the version, definitely it will work. Let me first quickly show you changing the version. Please go back.
But I think this is also good to know if you work on a project which basically is an old one, how to
right, that is why it is important for you. That's why I'm not telling you to change the version, because if you are working on a project in a company where you are on lower version, you will anyway face this issue, and then there will be no solution, right? So let me check where can we. Yes, I got the answer. It is in the config section. It's clear aggregation equals to true. Please go back to the config section.
Here.
The routing config section, perfect answer, comma, clear aggregation. Aggregation. You have to put clear aggregation, not target. So I was wrong. It's not target, clear aggregation. Please save this.
So should I delete the other one?
No, these ones you can delete. Yes, better you delete them. So I just Googled it. So guys, you just need to know everything. Just need to know system, how system works. So this is how Manifest works. We can just search it out and make it out. How can the things may work out for us? Yeah. Just run this. Since I am using latest version 1.54, it did not happen to me, this issue. Okay. Good that you're showcasing this issue. We will learn something new. It's still not working. I think that clear aggregation, we got to put it all inside that also. In the routes also.
Other ones?
Yes, just copy that and please put it inside the routes also, targets also here. Yes, please. I think that's the only catch.
How do you debug a manifest? Because you said
you cannot debug. It's like a file. It's not a JavaScript code. It's a file.
Yes, a JSON file. So there is no way, like if you have like thousands of lines of code, if you accidentally by mistake change something, how do you find out like how you
JSON, it's a file. A JSON lint is the .com. You can copy paste your JSON in JSON lint and that will validate. If it's valid JSON, that's it.
But like accidentally, if I go and delete something that P from here or like type
that's the reason you use Git repository in a real-time projects. So you will have any stable state of your project in the Git, okay, and then you're making the changes. And if you by mistake deleted something or you want to just kill every changes, yes, roll it back. That's where the Git comes into picture, right?
Oh, okay. Because otherwise it will be really like a nightmare to.
Right.
I could find out what was going on.
Yes, so. You can also find out who has changed last. You can use Git blame to blame on the developer who has made the last change. So these are all nice features Git gives us. Version control, it's a distributed version control management system. Very powerful concept. Everybody use Git repository these days. No, it's still not working. I think I got to check the solution. I'm not sure. I forgot. I think the solution. Just give me a second. I'll check in my project what I have done. In the meantime, any other questions? Anybody? This will work soon. Just sorry, Deepak. Just refresh also on your screen. You will see the detail view now will come up. There is nothing wrong. Just refresh on the top. You will see you are already on the root. It will load up the detail view now. But only thing, it's not clearing the target. There is nothing wrong with your code. It's just that not clearing the target activity. That's the only catch which is happening. Okay. You see it's loading up. So that's not your code is not a problem. It's just that one small setting we are missing to clear that target, actually, to clear that aggregation. So your empty view is superseding. It's coming always on top. You remember in the presentation PowerPoint we have this bring on top, right? That feature is there in PowerPoint. So that will bring one object above another object. So view 2, when it is loading, it's behind this current view. So
okay, even though we put in the target like Donald and the Robert, like, which is basically the empty view, which I haven't put in the second one here. It still won't make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to have that setting. I'll check that. In the meantime, any other doubt, we can move. Murli, you can ask your question. In the meantime, I'll find the setting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is just like kind of theory guidelines in the app when you're developing. Is there any limit, like how many views? Because you cannot keep developing 4 or 5 views and the user will get, I mean, you cannot keep on navigating, right? Is there any guideline like that? Like you need to do it within 2-3 views, the whole thing, something like that?
There is no
or you
guiding,
break it?
but try to make sure that Fiori is not about converting your SAP GUI app to app. This is a general myth which I see in people. They just simply think, अच्छा मेरा जो SAP GUI है उसको मैं convert कर देता हूँ. This is, you're going wrong actually. You're violating one important essence of having Fiori. I see lot of developers and functional consultant in company force you to, मेरा पहले ऐसे दिखता था screen, वैसा का वैसा कर दो. मतलब you're converting a SAP GUI screen to Fiori. You're actually, you lost it, man, at that point. If you say convert my Fiori app, convert my SAP GUI screen to Fiori app, you lost it. You have then actually not really use the power of Fiori, which is bad design, very, very bad design actually. Because अगर SAP GUI Fiori में SAP GUI convert करना है तो WebDin Pro बुरा है क्या? What is WebDin Pro? It's a web version. It's a web version of SAP application where exactly you have all concepts like SAP GUI, ALV also there, search help, OVF is also there, OBR is there for search help. Every single feature of SAP GUI of dialog programming is there with WebDin Pro. So अगर convert ही करना है तो WebDin Pro use करो ना, UI5 क्यों use कर रहे हो? But if you want to simplify the user experience, get user with the new features and make it ease of use. Guys, idea is to give the Uber-like experience. Do you need a training to book an Uber? Do you need a training to book an Uber? Do you need a training to do shopping on Amazon web app, Amazon app for mobile? Do you need do you need a training for ordering something from Swiggy and Zomato? No, no, you don't need a training. That's the idea of Fiori. The entire essence of using Fiori was to make SAP user experience so simple for end user that they don't need a training, because with past experience of 40-50 years, SAP known to be for its complexity. Even a functional person who want to work with SAP, the actual end user has to go through an immense number of months of training for using SAP. And now the whole idea with SAP Fiori is to bring and simplify that. So people do not need to spend more and more time on training and learning the software how to use. It should be so easy, ease of use. But if you are converting your conventional SAP screen to Fiori screen, what are you doing? You are repeating the same mistake. That user would again need a training. So try to think about it. How can you simplify the user experience? Do not hesitate to remove the fields which are not needed actually. Do not hesitate to do that. Okay. I found the solution, Deepak. It is clear aggregation. Can you go back to the manifest, Deepak?
Yes, I'm in the manifest file.
You're already there? Okay, just first of all, from Donald, you remove the clear aggregation thing. From Donald, you remove line number 81 with comma, perfect. And now here we have put clear aggregation true. Just also go ahead and put view level 3 in the trump, because that's the next level in the detail section. So view level 3. Clear aggregation is already done. Make sure clear aggregation spelling I spell out CLEARAGGREGATION. Clear aggregation.
Instead of Trump, he has done it in Donald. View level 3.
No, he has to do it in trump.
Oh, so that's going to be 1 for Donald?
Yes, that is for view 1. Yes. Here you just do that. 3 and just put above 1 2. Robert, you put 2. Okay. Just put 2 on safe side. Perfect. Save that, please. This is how my code was for 1.44 version. I checked it out. And now it should ideally work as it's working in my code at least, which was on 1.44. Still not working. We got to find out the catch for you then. Let me check it out. For time being, let's do one thing. Change your UI5 version to latest. Please go to index.html where you are loading the UI5 framework. Okay, you're already pointing to latest. Please go to component.js. Sorry, manifest.json, where we are specifying which library to use. There we have put, I think you would put 1.44. Just come down. Where did you put UI5 version? Yes,
Isn't
you
that the
can see on the
version up
top.
here?
Yes, here it is. I just saw it. Line number 19. You can see minimum UI5 version. You put 1.44. Just place it to 1.52. All the places.
Oh. So 1.52.
52, yes. Please replace all. Just all button. Yes, this one.
Okay, so I think you did.
Okay, save it. Don't forget to save, and now you can run that as a fresh instance.
So you're saying at any time we make a change in the manifest, we have to close the browser and then
It's a good practice if
redo.
you're routing in place, because sometimes, you're just refreshing. It's just reloading that route. It is not reloading the app code. So since you're a beginner, it is maybe behaving like that. Okay, I'm not sure what's wrong. Maybe do one thing.
Should I send you the file?
Yes, just send me manifest file. Guys, one more catch I want to show you. Can you go to Google and search for file compare? Just go to Google. In the Google, search for file compare. File compare. Press enter.
Is the first one diffchecker.com?
Yes, this one. So here you can put my manifest JSON on the right and your manifest JSON on the left, and then find difference. This is what is expected. Just try that after I upload today's class code. Take my manifest, put both of them side by side, compare. Where have you done mistake? You will surely find it. And tomorrow's class, you will be the first one to start with. I want to know if you can fix it. What is that you did to fix it up?
And Anubhav, so that's the only file. It's not nothing to do with the view controllers. I mean,
That is the only thing referencing for I can see there's no problem with your navigation. When we refreshed, it was working fine. We saw that, right? I would also recommend you to mail just the manifest.json file. Just that file you mail me, okay, will be enough.
Sure. If I can't find it, then I will email that to you.
Yes, because if it is working for me, it is not possible that won't work for you. Last change we can try out, instead of 1.52, just put 1.56, because that's the current version I am using. Last try. 1.56 is what you can put. Last try we can give. Replace all. Yes. Save that, please. Last try, let's give. Just run it simply. Don't do anything. No need to close the above one also. You can just simply run it. So remember this, in manifest, this property clear aggregation is required to clear that aggregation. No, it's not.
Yeah, it's still not working. I think I'll probably compare once you upload the
just compare
file.
That. I think then there's something wrong in manifest configuration somewhere. Okay, just try to replicate my configuration and just find out. No. Okay, moving next. Who is next? Murli, we have already done.
Yep. So Anubhav Prasoon here, if anyone has no doubt. So
go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a couple of doubts. Yeah, so I asked one question earlier regarding that on init and on before rendering. So on init, generally the concept as per it loads only once, right? During initialization.
Yes. Right.
Right. So, but every time we navigate, the view 2 is getting loaded with new details. So is it like then how come it will work? How that logic will work in on init, going back again and again? That's not I am able to digest that concept, right? That's why I said that why it's not in on before rendering, which will be triggered every time we navigate.
Okay. So the reason is the purpose. If you look at the on before rendering, okay, tell me one thing. To load the data in the second view, okay, in our example, to load the data in second view, this data, what did we do?
We bind the element.
Bind the element. For binding the element, yes. What did you need?
We need the context path.
We need the context path. Can you get this context path in on before rendering?
No.
You answered your question yourself.
Okay. Yeah, but how come on init will trigger every time? That is
On
my
init will
question.
never
Like,
trigger every time. On init में हमने कुछ ऐसा डाला ही नहीं कि वो हर बार ट्रिगर करे. See, we don't need an on init every time.
okay,
On
so
init
okay,
just
once we
give
it's
us
bind,
the
that's
counter,
final.
and here we are
Okay.
attaching the event handler. We are telling whenever root changing, call this method. That is initialization.
Okay.
It's not like
Okay,
calling,
so
we
you
are not
mean
calling Hercules method here every time. We are just attaching
okay.
event handler. Just the way you attach a function to a button press. Do you need to do anything after attaching a press action to a function?
No.
It
No,
automatically
automatically
does
it
it
keeps
every time user press.
triggering. Yeah.
That's what is happening. We are telling
Okay.
system, please attach Hercules to the root pattern match. Whenever root changes, system will call Hercules. Here you are just initializing this
Okay.
part. On init is initializing.
Okay, so you just pin it there. You just pin it there once, and then it's done. Every time
It's
this
that you are
event will
attached an
trigger
event
as soon as
handler. Every
okay.
time root changes, it will do. Now, there are actually, you
Okay.
mingled up two questions. First question was between on init and root match handler,
Before
Hercules
that.
method. Second question was uh, related to root match handler Hercules versus on before rendering, right? So you mixed up actually two questions. So before rendering, we cannot use. The reason is very simple. You all know the reason is very simple. It is because if you are using that,
Can't
you
get
cannot
context.
get the
Yeah.
context. You cannot get the
Yeah.
context actually. You cannot get
Okay.
the context.
Got it.
Context you can only get from parameters, which is a default parameter of Hercules of root match handler only. On before rendering में you can't get this parameter. Fruit ID नहीं मिलेगा आपको. It
Yeah.
only gets when the root
Got it.
changes.
Okay, so coming to the second one, I will just wrap it up soon because already we are over time, so I won't take much time. So yesterday we discussed about like one question I asked regarding that component.js create content thing, and you suggested that to write code in the model binding in the manifest JSON, right, to get the data. But I revisited the video, and at that point of time you didn't even create the manifest, but still you were getting the data. For me, only empty view is loading. So
Okay,
that is my
what you do
confusion.
is just go to the app controller in the init method.
Can I share my screen? It is there already. Can I
Okay,
share my
let's
screen
see.
once for 1 minute just?
ठीक है, let's see.
Okay, yeah, just 1 minute.
You are top performer on my WhatsApp list.
I'm just curious. I just can't hold my questions back. That is the problem with
That's
me.
okay. You will learn. But
Switch
please
to desktop.
understand
What
that
is this?
I also cannot answer all the time entire day because I will be in
That's
sessions. And so this is the best time you can ask me questions.
So I'm not. It's saying switch to desktop. Open store.
Just click on.
Add to Chrome. Click on.
Yeah, click on it. Add to Chrome, whatever it is saying.
Okay. Switch to desktop. Okay. Let's see. Share your screen. Yes, I'm getting option, but it says switch to desktop. This is weird. Just please give me 1 sec. It is added, I believe. Yes, it is added. Yeah. So able to see my screen?
Not yet. Yes, now I can see. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So I will go to web ID. So if you'll see here currently, right now I have I commented this place at thing in index.html.
Good.
Okay, and I am using the com container, and in component.js I have this create component code here.
Create app.
Create content code. Yeah, apping.
Go to
Sorry,
app controller directly.
creating the app. Now, if you go to app controller, I have my model binding here. Okay.
Model binding नहीं है sir. This is not
No,
model.
it is.
This is model creation, and then you are setting it to
Yes,
get
model
code. ये
creation.
कभी नहीं
Sorry.
चलेगा. You have not looked at my code. You have not even looked at my code. What am I doing in my code? It's clearly written in line number 16 in my app controller. that the model
Hmm.
which you created here should not be set at the get core level. It's clearly there in my code. Comment out line number 18 and 19. You
Okay.
should not set this model to the get core. If you would have seen my code properly, then you would have seen the answer already. It was there.
No, this is already
No.
commented. This just now I
Okay, let me share my
commented.
screen then again to show you
Okay,
in
sure.
the current application what is the code. जल्दी बहुत करते हो सर आप. ये देखो. Line number 16, see. Where I've written this dot get core. Where am I setting model to get core? I am setting it at the app controller level. App view level I'm setting the model. And I told also in the class that when you set the model at the app view level, all the other views are children of app view. They will naturally get this model object. This was told in one of my class. That's why you should create
Yes.
notes.
So Anubhav, yeah, I have done that, but in the create, I have done that
Okay, do one thing now. Wait,
models.js file.
just go back. Go back to share
Yeah,
your screen.
let
Go back to
yeah
the code.
sharing.
Go back
Yeah,
to the code.
one sec. Yes. So
And
if you
here,
see here in the models.js, I am
no, no.
binding that path
Wait,
whatever
wait,
I'm
wait, wait,
doing
wait,
here.
wait, wait, wait. आप नहीं समझे कोड फिर से. वापिस जाइए. App controller पे जाइए. Go to app controller.
Okay.
Just press enter. Line number 20. Just do this dot get view dot set model. Dot set model. O model. Perfect. Very
Oh,
nice.
my model. Yeah.
Whatever is the name. No,
Oh,
it's
sorry.
not
Oh,
my model. I can see.
model one.
Yes,
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 model
yes.
one.
Model. Save this.
Okay.
Run
Yes.
your app. Your data will come.
Okay.
Wow. Superb. When you do things right, naturally thing works. कितना टाइम वेस्ट किया आप चेक
Okay.
कर लेते कंपेयर कर लेते Deepak is smart. He has
Yeah.
already used code compare many times. I saw when he did Google, his link was already highlighted. Deepak is smart. He did not waste his time. He compared his code
I,
with my code. That is the way. That
I
is why
watched
I am
that
uploading
video
the
two
code.
to three times. I watched that video 2 to 3 times. That component.js
आप
session.
जल्दी में वॉच करते हो. आपने स्क्रॉल कर करके वॉच किया. मैं गारंटी देता हूँ आपने ढंग से वॉच नहीं किया.
नहीं.
Okay,
Okay.
your solution.
Thank you so much.
That's what I'm just concerned about your solution. There is nothing wrong. It's okay. You can ask me 100 times, but nothing that you would have wasted your lot of time yesterday. I have nothing to do. I have no problem, but you would have wasted your time. Okay. So that's why I
And
said to create the code.
one last query I had regarding yesterday. Somebody was asking input help, which was
Go ahead.
solved or not, and
That
what
is
was
Venkatesh,
yes.
and he is not allowed to install TeamViewer in his system. Venkatesh, I gave you the presenter rights. Can you share again one more time?
I was just curious. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Venkatesh, are you there? I can see your screen, Venkatesh. Please unmute your line. Or still there's an audio connection issue. 1 second. Let's let it connect to audio. Venkatesh, you can go and show us where is the issue. Here is the issue, but I do not find this code, Venkatesh, in the code which you have sent it to me. Oh, I got it, Venkatesh. This is what I missed out yesterday. You have a scan provider.js. In scan provider.js, you cannot access the view object. Are you getting my point? In scan provider.js, you cannot access. It's not a controller. This dot get view kaise chalega? It is not controller, Venkatesh. Are you getting my point? When you are in a controller, this pointer points to controller object. If you are in scan provider, this is not pointing to controller object. This is actually pointing to the scan provider.js object. So you have to move this code to your controller, Venkatesh. Are you clear? this code should be moved to the controller Venkatesh. Are you clear? I don't know where you have got this code copy pasted from, but that's very risky. You can see on the top, this object, this code which you have is in the scan provider. It's nothing, no, it's not a controller. You can do this dot get view only when you are inside controller. You cannot do otherwise anything. This is the problem. Please move this code, whatever you have, inside your controller.js, and then this pointer will work. Is that clear to you? You can answer in chat window if your voice is not working. So that is the solution I propose to you. It won't work. You have to move this code to controller.js. Okay, please try that out today and do let me know in case you still face issue. It will for sure work naturally, Venkatesh, because you have coded in scan provider.js, which is not a controller object. Okay.
Anubhav, one last thing. Yesterday there was a line of code there saying that that equals this. What was that about? Like I just couldn't get it. Like
okay.
Why was that required?
Okay, let me just quickly tell you. This was also covered in our previous classes. Somewhere I covered for sure. It's about asynchronous function using a variable, this variable. So let me just search. Yes, let me just search again. It is about asynchronous function in system using something. Okay, that is what this code is about. This that equals to this. So what happens is typically, okay, it's kind of doing some search. Okay, let me tell you what is that equals to this does. Suppose in JavaScript you have a function. This is one function. Okay, and this function, this is, let's say, main function. Okay, this function is further calling another function. So in this function you have a control, let's say button inside this, and this button is having a press, and that press is calling another function. Now what will happen? This particular inner function cannot access this pointer here. This is not allowed, not in scope. You understand what is in scope? Scope means inner function was triggered by outer function asynchronously. Okay, asynchronously. So this pointer will not be in scope of this inner function now. But outer function, if you try this dot get view, it will work. If you try to access this dot get view here in outer function, it will work. But inside this, if you try this dot get view, it will not work. So what do? We create a local variable. Say var local variable equals to this. Now what happens is, we all know, ये तो जग जाहिर है पूरी दुनिया में, any function calling another function inside, all the variables of outer function are accessible, like subroutine concept in ABAP. If you have a subroutine calling another subroutine, the super subroutine, the main subroutine, has a local variable which is also accessible within the child subroutine, right? Same thing happening here. This is a function, local variable, outer function as a local variable. This local variable now will be accessible inside the internal functions, the subroutine. Yeah. So here, instead of using this, which is not accessible, you can use local. That is what this local was actually named as that. Just a name they put as that. That equals to this, and now access this pointer, you can use that here. That dot get view you will do, it will work. Are you clear?
Yes, Anubhav. It's I got it down. Like I was just wasn't quite sure what exactly it was doing. So I was just still thinking about that.
Maybe I will see some example I can show you in the system जहाँ पे ये काम कर रहा है. In my Anubhav learning series, I've explained it actually. In fact, in one of the class, I 100% remember I've used it. 100% I remember I've used it.
Yeah. We used it for bind too also, right? And we'll send it that parameter also, right, Anubhav?
No, we don't need to then set a parameter. We don't need.
No. We'll dot bind. We'll give it and we can send it also, right? That's
yes.
Same.
You can also send it with dot bind. these parameter, and then you don't need to a local variable that. But good practice is create a local variable like this, and then it's free. You don't have to care about dot bind or dot passing the controller objects or sub function. You don't have to do that. Just create a local variable and it will be accessible. With that, I think we have to close, guys. Got to rush for the office hours. Thank you so much for being there. See you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Goodbye.